Hi everyone, welcome back to Bible in a Year. My name is Natalie and today we're on day 111. I am so happy that you are here today and I hope that your day is going great. We're going to be reading out of Leviticus chapter 25, Song of Songs chapters 3 and 4, Romans chapter 11, but only verses 17 through 36 today. And then we're going to close out the day with Psalm 74, verses 10 through 23. So let's get started with Leviticus chapter 25. Here we go. Yahweh said to Moses on Mount Sinai, "Speak to the children of Israel and tell them, when you come into the land which I give you, then the land shall keep a Sabbath to Yahweh. You shall sow your field 6 years, and you shall prune your vineyard 6 years, and gather in its fruits. But in the 7th year there shall be a Sabbath of solemn rest for the land, a Sabbath to Yahweh. You shall not sow your field or prune your vineyard. What grows of itself in your harvest you shall not reap, and you shall not gather the grapes of your unpressed vine. It shall be a year of solemn rest for the land. The Sabbath of the land shall be for food for you, for yourself, for your servant, for your mind, for your hired servant, and for your stranger who lives as a foreigner with you. For your livestock also, and for the animals that are in your land, shall all its increase be for food. You shall count off 7 Sabbaths of years, 7 times 7 years, and there shall be to you the days of 7 Sabbaths of years, even 49 years. Then you shall sound the loud trumpet on the 10th day of the 7th month. On the day of atonement you shall sound the trumpet throughout all your land. You shall make the 15th year holy, and proclaim liberty throughout the land to all its inhabitants. It shall be a jubilee to you, and each of you shall return to his own property, and each of you shall return to his own family. That 15th year shall be a jubilee to you. In it you shall not sow, neither reap that which grows of itself, nor gather from the undressed vines. For it is a jubilee, and it shall be holy to you. You shall eat of its increase out of the field." In the year of Jubilee, each of you shall return to his property. If you sell anything to your neighbor or buy from your neighbor, you shall not wrong one another. According to the number of years after the Jubilee, you shall buy from your neighbor. According to the number of years of the crops, he shall sell to you. According to the length of the years, you shall increase its price, and according to the shortness of the years, you shall diminish its price, for he is selling the number of the crops to you. You shall not wrong one another, but you shall fear your God, for I am Yahweh, your God. Therefore, you shall do my statutes and keep my ordinances and do them, and you shall dwell in the land in safety. The land shall yield its fruit, and you shall eat your fill, and dwell therein in safety. If you said, "What shall we eat the 7th year?" Behold, we shall not sow, nor gather in our increase. Then I will command my blessing on you in the 6th year, and it shall bear fruit for the 3 years. You shall sow the 8th year, and eat of the fruits from the old store until the 9th year. Until its fruits come in, you shall eat the old store. The land shall not be sold in perpetuity, for the land is mine. For you are strangers and live as foreigners with me. In all the land of your possession, you shall grant a redemption for the land. If your brother becomes poor and sells some of his possessions, then his kinsman who is next to him shall come, and redeem that which his brother has sold. If a man has no one to redeem it, and he becomes prosperous and finds sufficient means to redeem it, then let him reckon the years since its sale, and restore the surplus to the man to whom he sold it, and he shall return to his property. But if he isn't able to get it back for himself, then what he has sold shall remain in the land of him who has bought it until the year of Jubilee. In the Jubilee it shall be released, and he shall return to his property. If a man sells a dwelling house in a walled city, then he may redeem it within a whole year after it has been sold. For a full year he shall have the right of redemption. If it isn't redeemed within the space of a full year, then the house that is in the walled city shall be made sure in perpetuity to him who bought it throughout his generations. It shall not be released in the Jubilee. But the houses of the villages which have no wall around them shall be accounted for with the fields of the country. They may be redeemed, and they shall be released in the Jubilee. Nevertheless, in the cities of the Levites may redeem the houses in the cities of their possession at any time. The Levites may redeem the houses that was sold and the city of his possession, and it shall be released in the Jubilee. For the houses of the cities of the Levites are their possession among the children of Israel. But the field of the pasture lands of their cities may not be sold, for it is their perpetual possession. If your brother has become poor, and his hand can't support himself among you, then you shall uphold him. He shall live with you like an alien and a temporary resident. Take no interest from him or profit, but fear your God, that your brother may live among you. You shall not lend him your money at interest, nor give him your food for profit. I am Yahweh your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, to give you the land of Canaan, and to be your God. If your brother has grown poor among you, and sells himself to you, you shall not make him to serve as a slave. As a hired servant and as a temporary resident, he shall be with you. He shall serve you until the year of Jubilee. Then he shall go out from you, he and his children with him, and shall return to his own family, and to the possession of his fathers. For they are my servants, whom I brought out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as slaves. You shall not rule over him with harshness, but shall fear your God. As for your male and your female slaves, whom you have from the nations that are around you, from them you may buy male and female slaves. Moreover, of the children of the aliens who live among you, of them you may buy, and of their families who are with you, which they have conceived in your land, and they will be your property. You may make them an inheritance for your children after you, to hold for a possession. Of them you may take your slaves forever, but over your brothers and the children of Israel you shall not rule, one over another with harshness. If an alien or temporary resident with you becomes rich, and your brother beside him has grown poor, and sells himself to a stranger or foreigner living among you, or to a member of a stranger's family, after he is sold, he may be redeemed. One of his brothers may redeem him, or his uncle, or his uncle's son may redeem him, or any who is a close relative to him of his family may redeem him, or if he has grown rich, he may redeem himself. He shall reckon with him who bought him from the year that he sold himself to him to the year of Jubilee. The price of his sale shall be according to the number of years. According to the number of years, he shall be with him according to the time of a hired servant. If there are yet many years, according to them, he shall give back the price of his redemption out of the money that he was bought for. If there remain but a few years to the year of Jubilee, then he shall reckon with him according to his years of service. He shall give back the price of his redemption. As a servant hired year by year shall he be with him. He shall not rule with harshness over him in your sight. If he isn't redeemed by these means, then he shall be released in the year of Jubilee, he and his children with him. For to me, the children of Israel are servants. They are my servants whom I brought out of the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh, your God. That was very specific. My goodness. All right. Song of Songs, chapters 3 and 4. Now, I made a mistake yesterday. A lot of times in the book of Psalms, when I'm reading, it will have these little endings. I believe they're called Salah, and it's to indicate the end of I think a musical portion or a poem. So when we were in the book of Song of Songs, there are these little pieces here that say beloved, lover, friends. And so I was just kind of ignoring them, reading the passage. And then it occurred to me, oh, well, these are the people who are talking. So I'm not going to be redoing chapters 1 and 2, but here on I will acknowledge who is doing the talking. All right, so moving to chapter 3, Song of Songs. Here we go. Evidently, this would be beloved. By night on my bed, I sought him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but I didn't find him. I will get up now and go about the city, in the streets and in the squares. I will seek him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but I didn't find him. The watchmen who go about the city found me. Have you seen him whom my soul loves? I had scarcely passed from them when I found him whom my soul loves. I held him, and I would not let him go, until I had brought him into my mother's house, into the room of her who conceived me. I adjure you, daughters of Jerusalem, by the roes or by the hinds of the field, that you not stir up nor awaken love until it so desires. Who is this who comes up from the wilderness like pillars of smoke, perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, with all spices of the merchant? Behold, it is Solomon's carriage. 60 mighty men are around it, of the mighty men of Israel. They all handle the sword and are expert in war. Every man has his sword on his thigh because of fear in the night. King Solomon made himself a carriage of the wood of Lebanon. He made its pillars of silver, its bottom of gold, its seat of purple, the middle of it being paved with love, from the daughters of Jerusalem. Go out, you daughters of Zion, and see King Solomon, with the crown with which his mother has crowned him, in the day of his weddings, in the day of the gladness of his heart. And now this is lover speaking. Behold, you are beautiful, my love. Behold, you are beautiful. Your eyes are like doves behind your veil. Your hair is like a flock of goats that descend from Mount Gilead. Your teeth are like a newly shorn flock, which have come up from the washing, where every one of them has twins. None is bereaved among them. Your lips are like scarlet thread. Your mouth is lovely. Your temples are like a piece of pomegranate behind your veil. Your neck is like David's tower, built for an armory, on which 1,000 shields hang, all the shields of mighty men. Your 2 breasts are like 2 fawns that are twins of a roe, which feed among the lilies. Until the day is cool, and the shadows flee away, I will go to the mountain of myrrh, to the hill of frankincense. You are all beautiful, my love. There is no spot on you. Come with me from Lebanon, my bride, with me from Lebanon. Look from the top of Amana, from the top of Senir and Hermon, from the lions' dens, from the mountains of the leopards. You have ravished my heart, my sister, my bride. You have ravished my heart with one of your eyes, with one chain of your neck. How beautiful is your love, my sister, my bride. How much better is your love than wine, the fragrance of your perfumes than all kinds of spices. Your lips, my bride, drip like the honeycomb. Honey and milk are under your tongue. The smell of your garments is like the smell of Lebanon. My sister, my bride, is a locked-up garden, a locked-up spring, a sealed fountain. Your shoots are an orchard of pomegranates with precious fruits, henna, and spikenard plants, spikenard and saffron, calamus and cinnamon, and every kind of incense tree, myrrh and aloes with all the best spices, a fountain of gardens, a well of living waters, flowing streams from Lebanon. Beloved responds, awake, north wind, and come you south. Blow on my garden, that its spices may flow out. Let my beloved come into his garden and taste his precious fruits. There is some poetry in the Bible. All right, moving into Romans chapter 11. Whew, I got a little warm in here. Romans chapter 11, verses 17 through 36. Oh, where am I? Here we are. So here Paul continues. But if some of the branches were broken off, and you, being a wild olive, were grafted in among them, and became partaker with them of the root and of the richness of the olive tree, don't boast over the branches. But if you boast, remember that it is not you who support the root, but the root supports you. You will say then, branches were broken off, I might be grafted in. True, by their unbelief they were broken off, and you stand by your faith. Don't be conceited, but fear. For if God didn't spare the natural branches, neither will he spare you. See then the goodness and severity of God. Toward those who fell, severity, but toward you, goodness, if you continue in his goodness, otherwise you also will be cut off. They also, if they don't continue in their unbelief, will be grafted in, for God is able to graft them in again. For if you were cut out of that which is by nature a wild olive tree, and were grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more will these, which are the natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree? For I don't desire you to be ignorant, brothers, of this mystery, so that you won't be wise in your own conceits. that a partial hardening has happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles has come in, and so all Israel will be saved, even as it is written, there will come out of Zion a deliverer, and he will turn away ungodliness from Jacob. This is my covenant with them, when I will take away their sins. Concerning the good news, they are enemies for your sake, but concerning the election, they are beloved for their Father's sake. For the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable. For as you in time past were disobedient to God, but now have obtained mercy by their disobedience, even so these also have now been disobedient, that by the mercy shown to you they may also obtain mercy. For God has bound all to disobedience, that he might have mercy on all. Oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and the knowledge of God! How unsearchable are his judgments, and his ways past tracing out. For who has known the mind of the Lord? Or who has been his counselor? Or who has first given to him, and it will be repaid to him again? For of him, and through him, and to him are all things. To him be the glory forever. Amen. Yes. All right. Moving into Psalm 74, verses 10 through 13. Here we are. How long, God, shall the adversary reproach? Shall the enemy blaspheme your name forever? Why do you draw back your hand, even your right hand? Take it from your chest and consume them. Yet God is my King of old, working salvation throughout the earth. You divided the sea by your strength. You broke the heads of the sea monsters in the waters. You broke the heads of Leviathan in pieces. You gave him as food to people in the desert creatures. You opened up spring and stream. You dried up mighty rivers. The day is yours. The night is also yours. You have prepared the light and the sun. You have set all the boundaries of the earth, and you have made summer and winter. Remember this, that the enemy has mocked you, Yahweh. Foolish people have blasphemed your name. Don't deliver the soul of your dove to wild beasts. Don't forget the life of your poor forever. Honor your covenant. For haunts of violence fill the dark places of the earth. Don't let the oppressed return ashamed. Let the poor and needy praise your name. Arise, God. Plead your own cause. Remember how the foolish man mocks you all day. Don't forget the voice of your adversaries. The tumult of those who rise up against you ascends continually. Folks, this was a rough one for this girl. But I am so glad that you are here. I am so thankful that I was able to read this to you. The Bible is full of absolutely every single drama that's out there in any greatest novel. I mean, there is war, there is royalty, there are nations, there is sex, there is pure love. Anything you want. And I think we just covered about 90% of it today. So thank you so much for coming on by. Please come on back for tomorrow, which will be day 112. I will be hopeful for a little easier reading, and I just hope you have a wonderful day today. Um, I don't know, think about Song of Solomon or Song of Songs today, and just that pure, amazing first love. I don't know if it was their first love, but just where you have these blinders on, you see nothing else but your love, and everything is perfect about your love because he or she is yours. Think about that today. Kind of fun. Anyways, we will see you tomorrow for day 112. Bye.